Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you will indulge me for a moment, just wanted to touch base on yesterday's release of budget targets. We didn't have an opportunity to talk about that, so I just wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about the majority party's release of their budget targets with the governor and the House. You know, this bill is a glimpse of the impact of the problems that we see with the one-party system. With nearly $18 billion in surplus, the Democrat Party here is growing government by 30%. This is massive growth in the size and scope of government, and taxpayers will ultimately be footing this bill. Well, the state budget is growing. Guess what? Minnesotans' budgets aren't. They're getting hammered with raising energy prices, with rising food bills, with inflation hitting every single part of their daily budget. They're hurting. And while Democrats talk about tax relief during their campaign, we're seeing the truth that they aren't just interested in tax relief. No, in fact, we're not seeing the promised tax relief that the campaigns were promising. The targets say there's $3 billion of tax relief in committees, but we don't know what that is. We don't know what tax increases are accompanied with that. But what we can tell you about is the budget will include these tax increases. A $17 billion surplus simply wasn't enough to satisfy the big spending the way that single-party control had in mind. Folks, this is scary. This is a runaway train of spending in Minnesota that Minnesota taxpayers will be paying for years and years to come. Folks, we have to remember who we're working for. We're working for Minnesotans. We're not working for Minnesota government, and this budget is a reflection of Minnesota government growth. We need to come together. We need to take time. This is the opportunity to do that. Pare down this budget, pare down these targets to represent the needs of Minnesotans. Give Minnesotan tax relief. We saw that tried again today on the Senate floor. Unfortunately, once again, party line votes did not pass. Folks, we need to refocus. This is a time to do that. Senate Republicans are here to do that, and I hope Democrats will join us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Frentz.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Johnson. What Minnesotans wanted was a budget that supported education, a budget that supported working men and women of Minnesota, and that's what this Senate and the House and the governor are going to deliver, working together, both parties. But since you mentioned it, we have $3 billion in the budget targets for tax cuts. I know sometimes we've talked about which tax cuts, and I think your point is well taken, Senator Johnson. We haven't seen the specific proposals, but the reason we put out targets at this time is that you will, and you'll have an opportunity to say what you think of them, and hopefully we'll bring out some bipartisan solutions on those tax cuts. It probably goes without saying, so I'll say it anyway, Mr. President. Had we not taken down the bonding bill and needed that money for cash, we would have more money available for tax cuts and for the other priorities of Minnesotans, but here we are. And with that, Mr. President, I'd just say the majority party looks forward to working with the minority party in the Senate to try to come up with a budget that every Minnesotan, north, south, east, and west, old, young, will be proud of. And with that, Mr. President, I thank you.